why and where are we heading with digital creator economy booming across and the AI presence equally parallelly moving with the influencers? Because if you ask me, I will see influencers doing anything on Instagram. Probably I'll see, but if I'll see a AI doing some fruit slop, I will stop and I'll watch. So now in 2026 and after this, where are we heading with creator economy?
So interesting. The next few months, I'm not going to say few years because no one knows what's going to happen after a few years, but next few months for sure are very, very interesting from a creator economy standpoint. There are two types of creators. One is authentic human creator. I didn't, a few years back I wouldn't imagine myself saying this, but now there are two types of creators. One is a human creator and second is a creator made out of AI, right? Both have their own set of audiences. Of course, there is an audience which is a common audience as well. There are a lot of people who connect very, very, very much to a human creator, and then there are creators who don't care. There are audience who don't care, and they just want to watch, say, brain rot as content, right, or any other such content. And there are artificial intelligence enabled creators who kind of excel in that. So I think there is enough space for both to coexist, right? They both will find their own niche. There will of course be overlaps, but I think people are tolerant to a lot of content, especially short form vertical on the internet. So there is enough space for both.
I think interesting question, but I think I have pretty much similar views as Shrenik is saying, right? That it is not about, I think flip the script, right? It's not about creator, it's not about AI, it's about the consumer, right? What are they consuming? And if they are consuming both the sense, in fact, you got to understand that AI is actually going to be an enabler for quantity, an enabler for reducing the time to go to the market, enabler for filling up more and more likely pieces of content to something that is working. But was it created by the AI first time ever? No, I don't think so, right? I think there was a creator behind it. So there's always gonna be, like any other field, content creation is also gonna be where creativity is gonna trump, which your human creators are gonna be leading the gamut. But the distribution, the large territories, veins, as you would say, is gonna come from the AI content creators.
Yeah, content creators.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we know how big your influencer roosters is, but the question is, when you partner with some content creator or let's say creators, what's your core philosophy that goes in?
I think we've always been very clear about it, right? That because we also happen to map on a anthropological level how Gen Z audience consumption is changing or how the patterns are changing, right? Increasingly, your Gen Z audience is asking for something which is like, if I follow this creator, what do I gain, right? And if I follow this creator, what do I signal to the others, right? Which means that a creator who's creating the content that is just, that doesn't lead in any way, that doesn't go deep, insightful in any way, right? It's very difficult for them to actually garner continuous success over a period of time now, unlike what it used to be. And I think that's been our lens to the partnership, right? That the creator has to bring something very authentic, and they introduce you or they add value, or in the shortest possible way, if I want to say, they bring relevance to an audience which has no time and dearth of options.
You mentioned that creator needs to get in authenticity. I'll just, while I agree to everything, one additional point over there is creator regularly needs to bring in newfound authenticity
Okay.
every single time for evolving audience. So that's
Makes sense. So we keep talking about regional content creators, micro content creators, nano content creators, but there is one thing that is very visible, that the 90% chunk, I would say, the amount of money that goes into the big creators is huge, and when it comes to nano creators, micro, they are getting crumbs, right? So how are we justifying this? One side we are talking about, okay, we'll boost regional creativity, regional creators and micro creators and nano creators, and then on the other hand we are seeing who all are going for huda launch, the big creators.
Yeah.
the named creators, not the regional ones, right? So how are we, going to close this
See,
disparity?
understand, brands are not in charity business. You
Yeah.
have to understand that, right? They they would pay what a function of what they would get,
Hmm.
right? If there we know a lot of small creators who maybe charge as much or at times more than a macro creator. That's because the creator is super confident on the value he or she is getting, right? So at the end of the day, what one can demand is always and will always be a function of what he brings on the table, right? So I think one, it can never be one size fits all. There can never be कि एक rate card सबके लिए बना दो. That is not the way it works. It will always be a function of what the creator brings to table.
तो यही है, we'll take time for regional creator to be something. वो बस
Not
एक
really, na.
part time
There
creator
are. Say,
create
I'll give you an example of a fantastic regional creator, Jai Thadeshwar.
Yes.
Right? He started Gujarati podcast.
Yes.
Like he's one of the early players in the Gujarati podcasting ecosystem. Look
I
at
think
his
the known
numbers.
face is him
Look at
only,
his
yeah.
numbers. He's ranked 4 in India today. Right? So regional doesn't mean small. That is a perception one needs to change.
Yeah.
There could be national small creators or regional big creators. Again, it's all about the value one gets in.
I don't see that there is a gap. I think we're talking about the gap simply by adding the word regional. Take the word regional out and tell me if there is a gap. You're getting paid for what, in a function of what I'm getting back in return, right? And that doesn't change. How big is your brand is what I'm paying for. Am I using you as a distribution channel? Am I using you as a cloud channel? Right? It really depends on that, and that is accordingly how the brand takes a stance to kind of push the monies through. So I don't see that as a disparity, honestly.
Okay, so reports suggest that 10% of the creators take home 90% of the
Yeah.
earnings
And
of
that-
the whole creator ecosystem. How true is that?
Why not? 80-20 rule applies to everything in the world.
Okay.
Right? I don't doubt that, right? I'm sure it would apply to Hollywood, Bollywood,
Okay.
Indian creators, international creators, yeah, cricket. That's not going to change. Like, why are we even discussing that?
So, but the
There's a
point is that
disparity.
regional creators will be like, हम तो सिर्फ क्रिएशन करते हैं, हम सिर्फ एक एम्पलीफिकेशन चैनल बन के रह जाते हैं, हम क्रिएटर्स तो नहीं बन पाएंगे.
That is your problem. You have to be,
तो नहीं
no,
बन
that is
पाएंगे.
wrong. Are you relying on brand to come and suddenly make you a creator? You have to be a creator, and the brand wants to leverage on your platform. How are you imagining a brand to come and make you a creator?
Is it just one video that has to go viral and touch 1 million and then you are a creator?
No.
No? And what it takes? At least.
I think, okay, forget. I'll kind of answer it in a very different way in
Yeah.
terms of how we end up selecting creators for our
Yes.
campaigns. Okay, and that maybe you understand, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking at what is your niche area. I'm looking at what is the kind of a clout you have in terms of the way we said street credibility, right? For which we quantitatively analyze all of the comments and other interactions that have come in across you. Then we do a quantitative interaction and understanding what are the numbers that you're kind of raking in, right? If you've just made one video that has gone viral, but then everything else after that has been on a low down, right? I'm not assured the numbers that I'm looking at, essentially, right? So that's one part of the equation or the report card where I would be like, okay, this number might not match up. So I don't think so that one video and you're a creator will work today or it will
You
work
can
in the
go
future.
viral, but you cannot be a creator.
Yeah, I mean,
That's the
virality is a completely different function to being a creator. As I said, see, creators have to bring relevance to the audience's life, right? In one or the other way. Are you entertaining me? Are you teaching something new to me? Am I able to relate with the kind of emotions that you're about to bring to the table? I mean, that's creator. Virality could be as is spikes.
Okay, okay. So I'll tilt a bit and let's discuss the Dhurandhar success, but digital. Okay. So what was the core strategy? You guys decided, okay, we're gonna do this with this movie to make this movie the blockbuster digitally. Any
So
core
I think- No,
strategy?
I think at a fundamental level, I'd like to clarify,
Huh.
and I have told this before as well. If at all one has to give credit and say there are 100 points of credit, firstly, we are a small cog in the wheel
Right.
in the ecosystem to give someone a credit.
Okay.
But I genuinely believe it's the two strongest people backing the brand Dhurandhar, who has to take all the credit. One is Aditya Dhar,
Oh yeah, yeah.
V62 Films. Second is Geo Studios.
Hmm.
Dhurandhar as a brand wouldn't become Dhurandhar without these two.
Deals.
Yeah, correct. So 100%, say, if the 100% credit is there, 99.9999% credit goes to these two entities. And of course, then there were many other catalysts, and we are very fortunate to be one of the catalysts in the journey, right? And we are also thankful to Goa Fest that it recognized the work done for Dhurandhar, and we've kind of going home with lot of trophies this year for
Congratulations
Dhurandhar.
for that.
So that's great. In terms of strategy, the idea was simple. Uh, People love formats they can replicate, right?
Okay.
And of course, multiple other pieces of strategy were out there. I'm going to only speak about what worked on digital. Um we created a engine of continuous ignition, right? There were multiple formats served to the audience,
Okay.
which they loved to latch on, create their own content, and every single. In fact, we were talking, right? You also created a content piece around Dhurandhar, right? You're not a creator. You're not. Of course, you're an influencer, but you're not a creator which is a film onboarded, right? So we gave the right set of influencers, the right set of audience, the right opportunities to speak about at various intervals during the entire campaign,
Okay.
and audience loved it.
How long it takes to create such strategy for such a huge movie?
No, so Dhurandhar again, as a movie, was divided into two parts. The campaign, we were onboarded around Diwali last year, and a lot of campaigns started since then, and we're still working on it.
One or two, standout digital creatives that went all bonkers online.
So multiple things. I think in fact the first internet breakout moment for Dhurandhar started before we came on board for the campaign. The song by Hanuman Kind in the teaser broke the internet, right?
Yes.
That was the first impression about the
Right.
movie, which worked very very well. um, uh, while we were working on the campaign, one of the things which we loved, and we love to see on the other side, was the Flipperachi song breaking
Yeah.
out, right? um, um, we saw, before the campaign started, we saw a few people. In fact, we saw a couple of people from our team who were trying to create reels around it, and immediately within few hours of it going out in public, we started seeing millions and millions people, millions of reels around Flipperachi. So I think that was a great moment.
So that is one of the tracks that has got the maximum amplification and the virality on Instagram.
Yeah.
Number wise.
So number wise. So again, so the top two tracks in my mind would be the Flipperachi song, and Shararat as a
Shararat
song,
also.
right? Again, I'm not talking from a data narrative. I'm talking from
Yeah.
internet
Internet,
virality
yeah.
as a narrative. These two songs broke the internet.
Any specific creative tactics you guys use to just amplify this whole Dhurandhar fever?
Overall, if you want to understand, the key basis was that we wanted to, we kind of moved away from a very standard protocol of a Bollywood marketing template, right? Not that standard protocol doesn't work, but it's just that I think everybody on the table realized that this could be way different, right? Dhurandhar could be a completely different kind of a project, and a project like that, and wasn't without its cons also, right? There was always a higher risk. If there's a higher reward, then there is a higher risk attached, right? I think, as Shrenik said, the idea to kind of ditch the absolute straight playbook and turning into, I spoke to you about Gen Z, right? So there's a very big piece that we call co-authorship, essentially, right? So culture no more is something जो आप कहीं से लेते हो और and you receive it and say, hey, this is pop culture or this is subculture.
Right.
Culture has become something which you take part in. Could you use it? Could you see it? Could you remix it? Could you repost it? Right? Could you be part of it in a way where it is building you and it is signaling something about you? Right? I think that's something that we kind of kept absolutely at the core from a strategic lens, right, and an engine, to say that yeah, keep continuously putting out assets that people can own, people can remix, people can post it out, people can feel I am contributing, and not just feel, I actually ended up contributing technically, right? At the end of the day, the whole success of the digital campaign was that because people took the campaign personally.
Yeah.
Right, we suddenly had millions of brand ambassadors talking about us instead of us
Yeah,
talking about
thoroughly.
ourselves,
Yeah, true,
right?
true.
I think ability to recognize, to create that platform where it could be given across for everyone to do it, I think might be one of the key things that was able to be, kind of done.
So you guys are known for culture hacking, as you say, right? Even we know that. So for Dhurandhar, exactly who you targeted? Gen Zs only? No, no.
No,
Then
every single person in the country,
every single person.
every single, Dhurandhar had
Just
a
watch films.
Yeah,
massive
but again,
massive cohort differences. I think on
फिर तो
the
ये बहुत डिफरेंट हो गया बाकी जो हम एक पैटर्न क्रिएट करते हैं कि
I told you there's not
हाँ,
a regular playbook, right? That Durandar
Yeah.
played by. We
when
kind
you
of
say
divided.
that you say that it was not a regular playbook, you have to explain me because what changed with Dhurandhar? It was just a movie, right?
Yeah.
But then it becomes something
I think
massive.
you read signals, right? You always read signals. You see what is happening. Uh, you look at the heart of the internet, like Reddit and other places,
yes.
right? You continuously, when you're reading the signals, because we obviously, whatever Shrenik's telling that we did, nothing of it came without data. At the end of the day, everything underlying, there was data, there were signals that were being tracked, and there were very early spikes that we were able to see. Also, there's a large part of content that we already see before anything goes live, right? So we have a very good understanding in terms of saying, okay, what is our own take with so many years of doing so many projects, that where do we think possibly there could be a spike, right? But that's just a very intuition led. आप इंट्यूशन कहाँ से लाओगे? आप पहले
correct.
जिन लोगों को आप जानते हो, you're not gonna get an intuition from there. But because the data showed kind of spikes, right? And we saw the freshness, we saw how trailer came out, we saw how people started talking about it. I think we, at that point of time, we were very clear that it's not going to be something that we could do it in a very similar fashion.
Okay.
As I said, big risk, big reward, right? And then what happened is that on the face of it, well, you might say, okay, आपने Gen Z को target किया, which is fair. I mean, I understand where that comes from. I would also say that. But on the back end, I think there was different cohorts for every different kind of an audience that was being targeted and activated at the same point of time. So there are things that you might know about the campaign. There are a lot of things that nobody's going to know about the campaign, that everything happened on the back end. Right? So, but almost every cohort, we kind of tried. बोलिए.
No, please continue.
I remember Shark Tank जब पहली बार आया था ना, तो one of the brief was कि tier 3, tier 4 दरभंगा में बैठी हुई आंटी जो 35-40 की हो, जो प्रॉपर टीवी देखती हो, यार वी वांट हर टू नो अबाउट एंड टॉक अबाउट शार्क टैंक एंड फील कि यार दिस इज वेयर आई कैन बी एंड आई कैन बी एम्पावर्ड, राइट? इंस्टेड ऑफ टेलिंग मी कि यार मेट्रो में आपने शार्क टैंक का नाम बड़ा किया, right? I think that was it's been a while back that we did that campaign, but that was an amazing learning lesson for us also. It's like, oh, I think somewhere when you are just in a metro, unfortunately, over a period of time, your vision kind of narrows down. So, I mean, when you look at that whole Dhurandhar piece, I think there were multiple cohorts on the basis of various segmentations.
Right. Any key matrix or moments that you are very proud of that has come out of Dhurandhar campaign digitally?
I let Shrenik will have his own answer. I think to me, I think the most beautiful part, and I will not put a finger to a moment. I think I personally define success as that for almost more than a month, every single day, your Instagram, your YouTube had Dhurandhar on it.
Yes.
Right? I think people don't realize that that massive quantity kept the brand so highly in the head that it created that moment saying कि यार तुमने धुरंधर नहीं देखी अभी तक, right?
Like a
right. And अगर नहीं देखी है तो मैं इंटरनेट नहीं खोलने वाला हूँ भाई, मैं इंस्टाग्राम नहीं खोलने वाला हूँ, because I don't want to know
the spoilers.
what ending up happening, right? I think for me that's the scene. It's not about that one moment, 2 moments, right? I think so sustained 40-50 days of taking over Indian internet, I don't think so has ever happened for any brand whatsoever.
That's what.
Essentially, right?
So if this is the cake, I would speak about cherry on the cake.
Yeah.
I think the sweetest thing which happened in the campaign is it took more than 20, 30 years for one person to become an overnight success, which is Mr. Bedi.
Yes.
Internet suddenly started discovering the wonderful talent he is. He
True.
has been entertaining the Indian audience since we were children, right? And I'm just so happy to see the love he's getting.
Right.
Right? So for me, that's the sweetest takeaway
True,
of the
true.
campaign.
Did it break any benchmarks as a agency for you guys?
I don't think so. It's a breaking of the benchmark. The funniest thing uh, I've experienced is I think all of our friends and relatives outside the country also noticing, Are you guys did Dhurandhar?
Oh yeah, I saw the name and I'm like,
Yeah, exactly, right?
I know what Rivers Media.
Yeah, so I think that makes you very happy.
Yeah.
Because typically, and I'm not even talking about forget. I think I have friends who are obviously like not Indian, and they were exposed to the content, and they were also exposed to the agency brand name. I think I've not seen that with an Indian content in a while. Right,
it is true.
something breaking on a very international level. So many international reviewers breaking down the film, breaking down the trailer, talking about it, things like that. I think that's a massive move that we saw, and obviously that made all of us very happy. And I think the
Right.
name also kind of.
I think for me, it's Gaurav Gera being, acknowledged what he is, because nobody knew that it's Gaurav Gera there, in Dhurandhar, and then internet was answering everything. Okay, yes, this is that was for me the highlight of the whole digital campaign that was seen. So yeah, this is about it.